is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
All right, everybody, here we go. Welcome to another episode of the PWCC Weekly Hockey Auction Ending Watch Party for June the 23rd, 2024. My name's Jeremy Lee, and I am joined by Josh Madigan of the Hockey Cards Gongshow. Josh, it's been 2 weeks since we did one of these. How have you been? How was Father's Day?
It was good. How about yourself?
It was good. Very nice. Had a lovely time as a father with my 2 kids, and nice. I missed doing the show, but here we are. We're back, and there's been a lot going on in the world of hockey on the ice. In particular, we've had a couple trades too. The Calgary Flames are Jacob Markstrom gets traded to the New Jersey Devils, and then Pierre-Luc Dubois goes from Los Angeles to Washington. I kind of want to talk about that one briefly. Obviously, we're gonna. Well, I got a few things to say about those things.
Let's go.
But the Oilers, Game 7 tomorrow night. That's exciting. What are your thoughts on this? On the Oilers coming back from a 3-0 deficit in the series, charging back to 3-3, forcing Game 7, all the momentum. What do you see happening tomorrow night?
I don't know. It's tough. There's a lot of ways you could slice and dice this one, but it's just incredible that we're going to have Game 7. First time in almost 80 years, I think since 1945, a team has been down 3-0 and come back to force Game 7, the 18th Game 7 in Stanley Cup Finals history. Is there anything better than a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals? Ultimately, it's could come down to can Bob stand on his head once again? Is Stewie Skins, as we like to call him, Skinner, can he be solid and not give up that early goal? And then what stars are going to show up?
Exactly. Oh my gosh. It's very exciting. Even as a Calgary Flames fan, I am cheering for the Oilers to win. I'd like to see McDavid get the cup. I think it's good for the hobby if he does. And this isn't like, If the Oilers win the cup, it's not like, they coasted and won it in 5 or even 6. They are having a moment, like you said, that we haven't seen in 80 years or so. And if they can come back and win, that to me cements McDavid in particular as a true all-time great. He now is entrenched in that lineage. I like to go from Gordie Howe, Bobby Orr, Gretzky, Lemieux, Crosby, McDavid. He's entrenched in that now. He's earned his way there, and he can never be taken out at that point, in my opinion. So I'm really excited for the game tomorrow night. It's unbelievable, really, what they're doing. I wonder if we will see an impact on McDavid's card values or anyone else on that team, whether it's Stuart Skinner or Nugent Hopkins or Draisaitl. Bouchard has had a bit of a run up on his card values as of the playoffs. Any thoughts from you on that, Josh? Do you feel is this Stanley Cup, if he wins it for McDavid, is it already built into his prices, or is there room for a more increase there?
I think the answer is both. For a time, I believe that most people have assumed he's going to win a Stanley Cup, and that's been reflected in his values. But if you track his young guns like PSA 10 as a market barometer, you go back a couple weeks ago, it was running dangerously close to dipping below $2,000. Like there's a couple sales just north of 2,000. Well, now I think in anticipation of what might happen tomorrow night, we're starting to see sales in the $2,700, $2,800, $2,900 range. I think it goes to 4,000. Not forever, but I think if they win tomorrow night, that will be we'll see some spikes around that level. But I think in general, what we've been seeing more so over the last couple of weeks is not so much an increase in value, but an increase in volume. So if you look at cards that are sold for McDavid and Draisaitl and Bobrovsky and Matthew Tkachuk, they're all pretty healthy increases, while we're just not seeing a lot of super high end or record breaking sales.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, It's you mentioned Bobrovsky, and Bobrovsky seems to have seen an uptick in values to his cards since the playoffs started. I seem to have noticed more people posting his cards, which is going to happen. But I feel like maybe we're seeing more action on his cards, more demand, therefore higher values. We'll see. I think you're right about McDavid, though. I mean, I do think there's a Stanley Cup built into his values already, but there will be excitement. There's going to be a lot of excitement if they do win the Cup tomorrow, but I think it'll be short-lived. I think things will settle back down to where they started throughout the summer, and then we'll see what happens next season. Guys, PWCC weekly auction tonight. We've got about 150 cards. They are up for auction. You can go in there and bid right now. As you know, there is a link at the top of the chat. I pinned it. Please click on that before you bid. I greatly appreciate that. We'll earn a small commission, costs you nothing extra. And PWCC will know that you guys are enjoying the show and you are here. And we're getting ramped up for the auction and for hockey, of course, tomorrow night. Also in hockey, relevant, Jacob Markstrom, goaltender for the Calgary Flames, gets traded to the New Jersey Devils. My biggest question there as a Flames fan, I'm okay that we traded away Markstrom. I think we got an okay return. A defenseman, I'd never heard of him, even though he played all 82 games last season for the Devils. In Ball, I think is his name.
Ball, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, BAHL, something like that. And then, but we got the first round pick. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice asset to have. But the bigger concern I have, not even a concern, question is, why didn't the Toronto Maple Leafs get Jacob Markstrom? Why did they allow a goaltender like that to get through? You need goaltending, and they haven't had it for, it feels like ever. So if I'm a Leafs fan, I'm pretty upset that Treliving didn't make that happen.
Okay, I have a guess, and you follow in Calgary, of course, the Flames way closer than I would. But do you view the Markstrom trade, is that more so a vote of confidence in Dustin Wolf than?
It's a vote of confidence for the tandem in Wolf and Vladar. It is definitely that, and that's what I want. I want Wolf to be the guy, because our team is so bad right now. We're not a contender. We're not going to make the playoffs for several years now, is my feeling. Let's get this guy a bunch of experience, and so that the team can develop and grow for when we hopefully have our new building in 5 years or so.
Well, that should help his hobby market, because it'll give him a lot more opportunity to play in more meaningful games.
For sure. And then the one that really shocked me, Pierre-Luc Dubois, he gets traded from Columbus to Winnipeg for Patrick Laine. And then he goes from Winnipeg to LA, and Winnipeg cleans up on that deal. And now LA trades him to Washington for Darcy Kemper. So they give up Velarde, Iafallo, a pick, I believe, all that for a journeyman goaltender in Kemper, who's a fine goalie, but kind of I don't know what they needed him for. But what I do like is for Ovechkin, Pierre-Luc Dubois is actually a good player if he's happy, if he's in a good environment for him. Maybe playing with Ovechkin will bring some help Ovi next year score more goals and help him on his charge towards Gretzky's record. It's nice to see a playmaker go over to Washington and work, since he hasn't had Nicholas Backstrom for a while now. So any thoughts on the Dubois trade?
Lots. So are you saying that his fifth second chance is going to be the time where it really works for PLD?
I don't know. Listen, I mean, he's not super old. What is he, 20? Is he 26 years old or something like that? I'm not sure. He's not too old yet. I'm just saying that, it's like who Rob Blake in LA, the GM, he said, he just wasn't a fit here. Maybe you should have looked at that before you gave up a boatload. Is that GM
speak, though? Because you're right. Because look what he gave up. Not only did they give that up for him, Jeremy, they signed him to an 8-year, $8.5 million average annual value contract. And so that's very telling when after 1 year, you basically will trade him for a bag of donuts, right? I mean, it's kind of crazy. And I think as maybe foolish as it was for Rob Blake to do the trade in the first place, the fact that he was able, after one season, with his checkered past, to get rid of him and retain no salary is miraculous in my opinion. And then on the Capital side, you're right. To add a potential playmaker to Ovechkin would be a good thing. But they traded at the trade deadline for Kuznetsov. Now they add PLD. Is Nichushkin, is he next? Or are we just trying to get all the mental cases in the league. And what does Ovi think about all this?
Yeah, maybe maybe Corey Perry has one less stop left.
Yeah,
on
maybe
his, on
Perry
his
will be
career.
next too.
Maybe he'll win the cup. Oh God! And think about it. We were saying like a week ago, we're all saying how the Corey Perry curse is on because 3 years in a row in the finals to lose the Stanley Cup. Well, he might not lose it this time. Then that curse would be over. Just to bring him in. All right, guys, we have about 20 minutes left until all access bidding on the PWCC.
Oh
Weekly.
Yeah, sorry, Jeremy. And I screwed up. Yeah, they traded Kuznetsov to Carolina. They dumped him. That was my bad.
Okay. No worries. Oh yeah, I see Schwab is filling us in on that. We're going to get to your guys' comments in 1 second, but we do have the auction tonight, guys, and extended bidding starts in 20 minutes. Again, I put a link at the top of the chat. If you click through that, it'll take you right to the weekly. You can filter to hockey or whatever sport you want from there, and any bids you make, if you go through that link, will earn Sports Cards Live a small commission. Costs you nothing extra. Greatly appreciate that. All right, let's go to some comments here. Josh Schwab's Hockey Cards first into the chat tonight. Good evening to you. You are welcome. Always happy to host this, and glad to have you following along. Welcome to the show, Schwab's. Todd McDonald, what's going on? Good evening, and go Oilers. Good evening to you. The professor is here. Jacob Dahl is here. Brian Rupp. Flyers getting Mitchkov. I saw that he's coming over. That's very, very cool. Good to see. Professor says, and if the Oilers do not win, does this make what does this do to McDavid? Yeah, I don't think it does too much to him. He needs to not win the cup for 3 or 4 more years in a row. I think for there to be some degradation to his card values. We'll see. We'll definitely see a dip, but I don't think it does much because as soon as next season starts, we're going to see the excitement again. Just simple thoughts there. Nothing crazy. Jeff McMahon, what is going on there? Good to see you. Kinger, happy Sunday. Hobby Champ says, I have way more Panthers player cards, but how can I not root for Edmonton now? Yeah, I hear you. Steve Martin says, Canada needs a cup. I mean, I think it'd be great for a Canadian city to get the cup. It's at least if Edmonton wins, it's in my general geography here. So maybe we'll see a bit of an economic uptick as people are happy and they're out spending money because they are in a good mood. The professor wants to know, does the code SCL still work after the auction for cards that we buy if we did not use during the auction? Well, the code SCL, that's only for selling cards, not for buying. You have to use the link for the buying. And I think it does keep that affiliate window open for a few days, Professor. I'm not exactly sure, though. But thank you for the question. Chad, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Giulio Navaroli, welcome to the show. Calgary, New Jersey trade relations grow. They sure do. Yeah, because we got Sharon Govich from them earlier last year as well. Jeff McMahon says Leafs don't have much cap space until they unload Marner. Yeah, that's probably a big part of that issue right there for sure. Julio says Mark Bergeron finally gets PLD and he's gone just like that. Absolutely crazy. Southern Hockey Cards, good evening, says greetings Gong Show crew. I'll be part of that Gong Show crew. Greetings to you, Southern Hockey Cards. Jake Dahl, even if we don't bid on hockey with the link, you still get the commission. If you bid on any sport through that link on PWCC, SCL will get that commission. Thank you for clarifying, Jacob Dahl, and good day to you, Brett. All right, let's have a look at the cards, guys. Now, it's a lighter auction this week. I think there's right around 150 hockey cards, and we've got 30 selected this week. And it's dominated by Bedard. We'll see at the end. I think the last 9 cards or so are Bedard. So we'll see how long this show lasts tonight. But I wanted to start off with this Gordie Howe, guys, 1958 tops. And this card is on my personal want list. And I thought to myself, you know what? This might be the one for me. It's a PSA 4, so nice conservative value. It has the above eye appeal rating. So let's have a look at what that's all about. What is special about it? When you look at it from a distance here, it does look pretty nice. Josh, it's in one of these PSA holders that's too big for the card. So the card is kind of not in the middle of where it could be sitting, but buy the card, not the slab is my motto. So I did look at this one. I zoomed in and, I thought it is a nice copy. It has a couple of flaws. And one of them is just one that is not going to work for my collection. Maybe it'll work for someone else out there. But what I don't like about the card Let me start with what I do like. I like the color and I like the centering. It's not perfect, but it's good for the issue. But this top right corner has something weird going on that I just can't really figure out. Do you see that? It's almost like it got crushed, so it expanded a little bit. It's a little bit like if you look at this top border, it kind of sticks out a bit up there and a bit to the right. I'm not sure what's going on there exactly. Slight registration issue. You can see this yellow kind of shadow coming over the jersey and even over his hairline here. And then finally, it's got this print issue with this. Let me just zoom in on this for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. In case any of you are considering this card, at least, and I think it's a great card still, but just be aware of what's wrong with it. There's this vertical line coming through the glove all the way up through the elbow here. And I think that's just some sort of print defect. We see a similar print defect on the Bobby Hull rookie. Several copies have the same issue, and it seems to be in sort of the same place. So I wonder if that's just something that had to do with the printing. Outside of all those issues, though, I still think it's a great looking card. It's a good picture of Gordie Howe, and for $290 right now, plus buyer's premium, I don't really have an issue with it myself. Josh, what do you think of this Gordie? And what do you think? I love the spelling is wrong. Gordy. Kind of funny. We're aware of that by now. But Josh, any thoughts on this Gordie Howe?
I love this particular card, and it is a Gordie Howe I would like to have as well. The name thing is kind of funny. I love the monochromatic Oilers uniform he's got, where literally everything is basically deep red, right? From the gloves to the breezers, as we call them here in Minnesota, not hockey pants, breezers.
I think you said Oilers, but you definitely meant Red Wings. I don't.
Oh, Red Wings. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No
I don't know what's going on with me.
Oilers. Oilers on the mind
scrambled right now. But
Oilers on the mind. Oilers on the mind.
Yeah, Red Wings, right? Head to toe, and I love the background. I love everything about this card is kind of awesome.
I like it as well. His elbows look a little cut, considering they called him Mr. Elbows a lot of the time.
Yeah,
they do look funny, but cool card. We got some Gretzky rookies, 3 of them here. So we have a Topps BGS 6, we have an O-Pee-Chee 6.5, and a PSA 1 O-Pee-Chee. Let's open these up and take a look at all 3 of them sort of consecutively here. The BGS 6.5 O-Pee-Chee. I'm looking at it just to get my initial thoughts on it. You know, centering is off. It's to the left, but well within the grade, and it's not terrible. The centering is still pretty respectable for what it is. You know, it's got that rough cut coming down the left edge, the bottom. The right is the sharpest edge. The top is pretty good as well. A bit of a rounded corner up here on the left. Top right, yeah, it's not a perfect corner. As far as the rough cut goes, this is a pretty egregious kind of indent right here on that is just the rough cut, but it really comes into the blue there a bit more than I like to see. I don't mind the rest of the edge though. When we come down to the bottom corners, bottom right corner is wonderful. Bottom left corner, little bit of an issue. And you can see right here on the legs, look at the yellow glow coming off the bottom of the legs. So we know that the yellow printing plate was definitely offset to the right. As we go looking at the oil drop, you can clearly see that the yellow oil drop, the yellow plate and the magenta, they're kind of, you know, instead of being like bang on, like my hands here, they're just offset a bit, you know, just offset a little bit. And you can see the yellow shadow here. So it's, you know, we've got registration issues. You can also see the white gap, the hairline white between the blue and the black. You see the blue coming into the white where it shouldn't be over there. As we come up, you see yellow in here, blue in this white. This should all be white, but you got the thin strip of blue coming down, yellow in this white border. And then the word Oilers is kind of 3D, like the oil drop below with the yellow coming off of it. So if you zoom out, you don't notice these things as much, but if you look at the card like I do, you zoom in and you can really see the various flaws. I don't necessarily think that 6.5 is an inappropriate grade. I think it's probably appropriate for the card. Is it the right 6.5 for you? We'll have to leave that up to you guys. We have the PSA 1 O-Pee-Chee here now, and this looks really good for a 1 at first glance. I'm now starting to spot a bunch of little creases, especially right through here, right through his screechers or whatever Josh called them. The
breezers.
The breezers. Right through his hockey pants there. You got creases in here, all in this bottom right quadrant, bottom left as well. That corner's pretty dinged up. Same with this one. You got almost like almost a mini tear and a crease coming up there. We come up the card. The top isn't as bad as the bottom, but the corners are definitely, it's a bit of round. This one's not so bad. This one's looks like it's been kind of dinged, like it's been hit. The word Edmonton, you can see there's some snow effect on the black there. So the black plate didn't come down to the degree that we'd like it to. Color seems a little bit dim to me as well. The oil drop is offset to the right a bit, not too bad. Slight shadow coming off the pad. Anyway, I could go through and pick this thing apart, but to be honest, it looks like a really good one. I've seen way worse ones than this one here. And I don't mind this. What's it sitting at right now in price? $420 right now. I think that's a good deal for this. And PWCC did give it the exceptional eye appeal. I don't disagree. I think it's very nice for a one. Like I said, I've seen much worse. So I think this is definitely a strong one for sure. And then finally, we have the Topps BGS 6. Looks pretty good from here. Why is it only a 6? I mean, and it does have PWCC eye appeal. They gave it the above average, the top 30%. Looking at it here, yeah, the top edge is nice. The corners are great. They're not perfect, but they're great. Those side edges are gemmy. I would call those gem. Bottom edge, bit rough, but not bad. Bottom left corner is a bit of a ding, but not bad. Like this is very strong for a 6. And PWCC gave it the A. I almost think they were conservative there. They could have given it the E for exceptional, top 15% instead of top 30. Josh, I gotta ask you, maybe you're spotting something I'm not on some of these cards, but what were your thoughts on these? Which one would you like to start with?
Well, we'll just go in order. So the 6.5, for many of the reasons why you pointed out, is not the card for me. I would probably want one a little more centered. Is that distracts me when it's off center to this degree. And then you've turned me into a registration snob, and the registration, this card loses me there. There's just so many issues. Once those plates get too far offset, it kind of hurts the whole card. That's probably all I have to say on that one. The one, I think, again, the more time that goes on, the more I start to gauge vintage on eye appeal first, and then the grade kind of tells me what price range it's in. And like you said, we've seen PSA ones where like half of a corner's ripped off, and there's going to be lots of issues in any PSA one. That goes without saying, but it comes down to, do those issues in of themselves distract you from enjoying the card? And I think that the creases are minor. The part that bothers me the most is kind of around the oil drop below that. There, I don't expect that part right there.
Yeah,
but like a lot of times, like you'll see PSA ones where there's holes poked in the face of the player, right? And that would be an example where it's like, no, this card doesn't do it for me. But in the most important parts of the card, the picture of Wayne actually looked pretty clean, I think, in this case. So for the PSA 1 price range, I think this is a great card, and I actually wouldn't mind having it.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I agree. I think it's very nice for a 1. And, somebody shared in a private chat I'm in yesterday. It wasn't a Gretzky. It was a 33 Gaudy Lou Gehrig. And it was a PSA 2, I think. And the corners were like rounded, but I left a response. I said, those are some sexy corners, the curves, because they were just so perfectly symmetrical around all 4 and smooth without fray. So, I hear you on these lower graded cards. If you enjoy the card and the flaws don't bother you, like a rounded corner or even a crease or a wrinkle, that's great. How about the top 6? I mean, there's not much to say about this one, Josh. It looks really good.
Yeah, I see in the comments too, and I had this question. You've seen way more of these than I have, But what about the black lines that you see kind of in the upper right corner and then in the left corner
This
as
here?
well? Yeah. Are those
Yeah.
common? Are those considered defects when looking at
I
this card?
mean, I would personally consider that to be like PD, print defect, because I don't think it's intentional, but they don't seem to impact the grade of the card or the desirability amongst collectors, uh, from what I've seen over the years. And yeah, what it is an extension of the, like, how did that it's just an extension of these black lines coming up, right?
Mhm.
Like it's right, and you
Mhm.
can see it right here as well. Um, I don't really know much more about them other than it's something to consider for yourself. And maybe that did impact the grade here. It doesn't bother me that much. It's less than ideal, but I wouldn't say that those are a deal breaker for me. They don't
Yeah.
bother me as much as some of the other things that I nitpick about, you know?
Yep.
All right, before we move on, a couple of comments that came in. Yes, Robert, Canada wants the cup. They didn't have spell check in 1958 for Gordy. Brett wants to know about the Mario Opici buyback auto. I think we have that one selected. I saw it. Let me come back to that, Brett. I think it's a relevant, definitely something we want to talk about. Joe Perot knows what's going on. Joe says, love the how. Orlando, good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining. I've never heard the term breezers in my whole life, so I don't know if they just don't call them those around me. Kinger says those lines. I think he's talking about the ones that we were just talking about. Hey, Josh, probably those ones right there. Professor talks about taking Beckett cards, crossing them to PSA. Is that a candidate? I don't know. He probably a candidate. Probably a candidate, Professor. I would think so. Dave Kaplan says, I've never seen those lines noted as a PD. Right. I've never seen them noted, but they are. Like logically thinking, technically speaking, they are a print defect because they shouldn't be there. So, but I've never, like David says, I've never seen that. I've never noticed that either. Kinger says it reminds him of the blue lines on the back of some of the cards. Some Gretzky rookies, which some people think are first prints. I think that's a bunch of hooey. I think it's just later on. But Kinger, I thought the same thing. They remind me of that as well, for sure. And Professor says, I wonder if one of the restoration guys will pick up the PSA one and make some of those creases go away. Definitely possible if they are watching the auction. All right. A 1984 Topps Guy Lafleur in a PSA 10. Now, this is, what is this? A 13th year Guy Lafleur card. It's a great looking card. We're the Gong Show. I know Josh and Troy talked about this on their podcast. So, Josh, what is it about this card that attracted you guys?
I think the biggest thing was that almost any reference in the hobby to Guy Lafleur tends to be around his rookie card. And so when I saw this and I saw it was a 10, and that kind of makes it interesting, right? Is that I'm like, it just made me think, I wonder if there's any sort of market outside of his, like any playing days cards that are considered relevant or chased or sought after. And just got me curious at looking into the card. It's from one of my favorite sets too, so it doesn't hurt any by any imagination. And then when I looked into the card, one of the things that, and you can see it pretty apparently now, is we know that PSA does 60-40 on centering, but you kind of got to wonder if this is maybe pressing that a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely off center to the right. It seems to have some slight counterclockwise tilt going on. Very slight, I would say. This is a late Guy Lafleur card. I think a card like this is going to be in demand by people who are working on a full 84 Topps hockey set in PSA 10 holders.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a ton of, I just don't know. I'm sure they're out there, but people who are working on the Guy Lafleur base set run, the Opeachy and the Topps. And if they aren't they probably just working on the Topps or the Opeachy and not both? So nonetheless, it is a Guy Lafleur card. I love you got the two images of him as you do. 84 is one of my favorites. But yeah, I don't know who the market is for this card unless it's what I just mentioned. But we'll see. You also said, are there other, outside of his rookie card, are there other cards that have hobby relevance? I don't think there is, Josh. Like,
Yeah.
if you think through from his 1971 rookie through until his final playing days base card, which I'm not sure, this might be it. Did he have a base card in 85 or 86? I'm not exactly sure. And Dave Kaplan makes a point, says Montreal Canadiens team registry PSA guys. That's a thing. Yeah. So for them, they just want the highest graded card of any of each player. So that could be a thing for them just to get them higher up on that list. But I would think, go ahead.
It's only a pop 26 too.
Yeah. The thing is, I think these team registry guys on the PSA set registry, I think there's no specific card they have to have. It can be any base card. But if you are working on the Guy Lafleur run and you're doing the basic or whatever it would be called, where you need all O-Pee-Chee and all tops, like you said, only 26 people can have this one. And I could see that being interesting for them for sure. But other than that, John, other than the PSA set registry, it's not a very important card.
Can I make one last comment though, too? And I'm going to sound a little persnickety here, and I don't mean to, but we in this hobby throw the last sale of one of these like $90 at prospects all day long that'll never make it into the top 6 in their entire life. And here's a chance to own one of the greatest players of all time, a playing day card, PSA 10 pop 26 for less than $100.
Yeah. You're right. If you just want to have a nice card of a great Hall of Famer, this is a great opportunity to land it for sure. The other thing about the top set is that it's smaller than the O-Pee-Chee set. So if someone is trying to put together the whole set graded, tops is an easier project than O-Pee-Chee. Okay, let's jump ahead. We're going to jump ahead here by about 22 years now to 2006 Black Diamond Alex Ovechkin gold parallel, numbered out of 10. Also jersey numbered 8 of 10, guys. I didn't realize that until right now. The grade on the card, unfortunately, is going to probably hurt it a bit. It's only an EX5. And as seems to have some issues right in this area here. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but definite issues there. Despite that, though, it's still a second year Ovechkin Black Diamond gold out of 10. I think that's pretty cool because the year before is his rookie. So that's a pretty nice card. Pop 1 of 1, only one graded higher. This is the 8 of 10. This is the jersey number. So to me, the grade itself is sort of irrelevant. It's like, if you need this card, you need this card. Despite the grade. And I think you will save a bit of money because of the condition versus if it was higher, because then you'd have more and more people after it, I would have to think. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, this one's a tough one for me because I think, again, not to be cynical, but if you're buying it, I wonder if are you buying it because of what you think that the specs, right? What the card should represent versus actually enjoying the card, because it is pretty rough from that perspective. But yeah, aside from the grade, right, a second year Black Diamond gold out of 10 jersey numbered is pretty intriguing, right? Just on face value. The other thing too, I wonder, and you would have better insight than me on these particular cards. As we know, since Upper Deck introduced Extended Series in 2020, they've been adding these as kind of a cheap insert, this design. And I wonder, like, were these a bigger deal 10, 15 years ago than they are today because maybe the retro design's been watered down a little bit? Or were they never that big of a deal?
In my, from my hobby travels, it was almost a niche market, a niche demand for any Black Diamond parallel, whether it was the rubies, I think, are out of 100, or the greens, I'm not sure what they're out of, and then the golds out of 10. They never received the same sort of love and attention that Prism golds receive even now. So I don't know why that is. They were sort of an oversight back when they first came out, and I think they kind of continue to be. They're not that popular. I don't covet them at all personally. So, but We'll see. Let's do a couple comments here. We've had a few more coming in here. So Chad says Lafleur's last base card was the Nordiques 89. I remember, now that I'm thinking, I remember he had O-Pee-Chee Premier base card in 1990, the inaugural year, the inaugural O-Pee-Chee Premier set. So he did have a one more card after that. And I'm not sure if he had any cards in 91, 92 or not. Larry has the Gordie Howe PSA 4.5. It does not have that print line in the red, but has a couple of fish eyes. Yeah. So I that is a PD issue right there. Dave Kaplan says that the registry guys want all the Montreal Canadiens players from every year, highest graded copies. And, I wasn't aware of that, Dave. Thanks for enlightening us. And I would have to think that no team would be chased as hard as the Montreal Canadiens, sure, as far as the every player every year. Dave Kaplan, if you have any thoughts that there would be a team who's collected more heavily on the registry than Montreal, let us know. Maybe the Leafs, maybe the Rangers, something like that, but I can't see it being anybody else. Larry says he loves his 91 Upper Deck Guy Lafleur in the Nordiques uniform. And Jeremy Hyman says, for some reason, that gold Ovi reminds me of PMG vibes. Yeah, fair enough. I sort of see that too. Jeremy, welcome to the show. All right, guys, let's keep on going. 23 minutes in the first extended bidding. And now we've got some players who we are more used to seeing lately with the Alex Ovechkin honorable numbers from 2010. Only 8 copies produced on this card, Josh. What I like about this, and I love honorable numbers, I love them from many years. We're seeing 2 patches. They both have 3 colors. That's what I love. Hand number 2 of 8. Autograph gets a 10. Card gets a 9. This is a great card, and it's at $1,350. Pop 2, none graded higher. And then we have 2 McDavids, both from his rookie year. We have the sign of the times. Now, this to me has to be the ugliest sign of the times ever with that orangey red background. I like a cleaner sign of the times, but that's it. It's not terrible. I just don't love it. He's skating in front of a sunset right there. $2,200 for the numbered sign of the times rookie, Connor McDavid, and then his SP game used true rookie out of 97. These are, I do love these cards, is at $1,650 BGS 9. And these cards, these are, for the longest time, Josh, and you'll know this, or you guys will all know this, to be a rookie card, there had to be at least 99 copies. That was the arbitrary reason or criteria put forth, I believe, by Beckett magazine back in the day, and I fully supported that. I thought it made a lot of sense. I still like that. But then the card companies get a little craftier, and Upper Deck comes out with SP Game Used and says, well, we're going to make the base rookie card out of their jersey number. Well, that changes the whole rookie card, really the way that the framework, it kind of blows that up, and the hobby accepts these as true rookies. I'm good with it personally. Josh, what about you? What do you feel about that and these 3 cards?
Well, I'll start with the cards first. The Ovechkin really stood out to us because, and I'm not exactly sure if there's any other instances, but to have a vertical card be in honorable numbers is quite unique. Most of them are horizontal. I wonder if this is the only year that they were vertical like this.
It's not. 2009s were vertical as well. Okay. That comes to mind for me. There's a couple others.
So would you prefer the vertical or horizontal?
I'm indifferent. Personally, I'm indifferent. I love them both.
Then I just sound a little like the 8 kind of cut out. It looks like a fat snowman, but
yeah,
I can get over. I can get more of a fat snowman than an 8. The McDavid sign of the times. I think, Jeremy, that is actually the Utah Jazz parallel. You don't know that, but yeah, that's the looks like a Jazz jersey.
Yeah.
And then on the rookie thing, it's like that's been a little bit of a topic on our show lately. We've had a lot of chatter about that as well. Here's my read on this, and I'm not saying it's right or that I can't further evolve my thinking, but I'm a little bit more in the newer side of the hobby, and I think most collectors can't distinguish between quote unquote a true rookie and a rookie year anymore. That it's just more rookie card is how the hobby generally looks at it. And I think part of that comes back to, well, who decides if we are going to buy into a true rookie, what a true rookie is. Most people default to Beckett. The argument I would make there is that, and I don't say this to be mean, I really don't. It's just a fact that I think Beckett's barely relevant in the hobby anymore. And so you look at what they're grading nothing at this point. And it's probably sad for a lot of people like me who grew up with Beckett magazine, but it's hard to say that they should be the arbiter at this point of, because they just, like I said, they just don't seem relevant to me.
Oh, I completely 100% agree with that. I don't think that Beckett is the arbiter of what is what anymore, as far as designating what the rules of rookie cards should be. I don't know who is that arbiter anymore, but I think it doesn't really matter. I personally believe that post 1995 or so, the rookie card designation is just not as important as it used to be, as it was before for cards that came before that, because there's so many options now. I mean, I've talked about this ad nauseum, it feels, but
I have one more question for you on this though, is that, do you think that we need a distinction going forward? Because like one of the things that big topic on our last show on Thursday is we sort of did the math, and right now the average or based on how many Bedard rookie cards have been in the 2023-24 sets that have been released, he's on pace to have between 1,300 and 1,350 rookie cards, unique cards.
Rookie year cards or RC cards?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's the whole point of our conversation.
The question is you've got O-Pee-Chee Platinum that's going to come out, and he'll have his base O-Pee-Chee Platinum rookie card, and then he's going to have all the parallels. Those parallels would not be rookie cards; they would be rookie year cards. So when you say 13 to 1350, are you talking about total cards issued during his rookie year, or are you talking cards that are rookie cards, maybe cards that are rookie cards and they're parallels? I'm not sure what you meant.
It's a great question, and how I'm going to answer that is, I understand exactly what you're saying. I think to 95% of the hobby, that's a complete distinction without a difference. That when somebody's on eBay, that card is sold, the hot magma O-Pee-Chee Platinum Parallel is sold as a Connor Bedard rookie.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And that's what's reinforced. That's what people see over and over and over again. And then it's really hard to come back and say, well, 17 years ago, Beckett said in some magazine that this is
right. And that's because, so the reasons for that in my mind are, number one, 17 years ago, even go back to the 80s when it's just easier. You only had one or two rookie cards. You only had one or two cards per player per year, unless they had some subset cards like, team leaders or award winners, something like that. No one ever considered those to be rookie cards, but they were rookie year cards. Yzerman has one, Lemieux has one, Gretzky doesn't. Then you fast forward into the parallel era and insert era of the mid 90s forward. And now, instead of having 2 or 3 cards per rookie per year, you've got dozens, if not hundreds, and now we're into the thousands. And because of that, and because people advertise every single rookie year card as a rookie, PWCC does it, sellers on eBay do it. They just say rookie because it's from the rookie year. And it's those reasons why I personally don't think that the true rookie card, and when I say true rookie, I'm not talking about this SP game used. This is a really good one. But I don't like, if you take the base O-Pee-Chee Platinum, rookie card, nobody really wants it. I shouldn't say nobody. Fewer and fewer people want that now. They want a numbered parallel. They want the gold seismic or the what's the green called? It's just escaping my mind.
Emerald Surge.
The Emerald Surge, right? Or the prism, the red prism, whatever it is. They want one of these ones. The Arctic Freeze. They don't care about the one that isn't numbered. They want the numbered copy. And that has trumped the rookie card, the RC designation. So again, to me, the RC designation has lost importance relative to the 70s, 80s, 90s, and before. And the rookie year card has become more important. And let's face it, some of the best rookie year cards like a limited logos or an honorable numbers, they're not RCs, but they're in many cases, it's a bad example because the Cup RPA is still so important, but those at least are going to be more important than, the Young Gun or many other rookie cards from the year. So at the end of the day, this card is unique. The SP Game Used True Rookies are a unique breed because they are the base card in the set. And I think that the word true came about to help collectors understand that this is the rookie card from the set. Synergy has the same thing going, where the true rookies in Synergy are out of 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever it is. So anyway, really cool card. All that about this. Boy, we can go on some tangents here, can't we? But there we go. And I like the comment here from Brett S. He says, this McDavid, he says, is the precursor to the chemical composition from the Cup, which is, maybe the worst card ever to be inserted in the Cup. And Upper Deck has admitted as such. They don't love it.
Pretty sure McDavid told them that, actually, and that's pretty much confirmed.
McDavid said, what is this? What is this? Want to welcome everybody watching on X, all 25 of you guys, everyone on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Welcome to the show. All right. Gretzky buybacks it's a 2014 trilogy card issued in 2015. They did 4 of them. Oilers uniform, numbered 4 of 4. Pretty nice looking card, actually. It's a base card buyback autograph at $825. PSA 10 on the auto as well. This is actually the price is right, or I was going to say it was a bit higher than I was expecting, Josh, but it's actually right where I think it should be because of the 2 10s on the grade, and the hobby eats that up. And there's only 4 of them out there. That's pretty cool card right there. We have the 2015 Upper Deck Team Canada McDavid rookie patch auto. See, now, here's another issue where PWCC uses the word rookie, but it's not from an NHL set. So it's more like an XRC, but again, it's from his rookie year, or at least it came out in his rookie year. It's from earlier than that. Pop 10, 1 graded higher, BGS 8.5. Nice looking card, $625. And then an Upper Deck clear cut Wayne Gretzky auto, PSA 8, Pop 1, 5 graded higher, sitting at $320. Nice Oilers image of Gretzky. And let's have a look at that autograph. The autograph looks very nice. No issues with that autograph at all. This one, harder to see, but I can't see any issues with that one either. Josh, any thoughts on those 3?
Yeah, so we'll start with the buyback. This is a case where, and I love the concept of buybacks, and it's good in theory, I think hard to execute. It's actually a really cool base card of Wayne. The problem for me in terms of a buyback auto is there's just not a great spot for an auto, and the auto gets lost, which is unfortunate, of course, because Wayne has such a nice auto. So it's such a great idea, just really hard to execute well when there's not that natural spot for the auto. On the Team Canada one, I don't know if I'm an American, so it's hard to have too much of a comment on that, but I can see if you're a Canadian and you're national pride and you collect Team Canada cards, and obviously one of the greatest players ever, that that would be a good maybe option. And then what was the next one? It's a cool card. I mean, to me, you're buying more a Wayne Gretzky autograph than you're buying. It's just a really nice Gretzky autograph here. Because I can't let it go. And you were talking about the example of the McDavid Team Canada and the rookie. One thing I've noticed, and you're more into baseball than I am. I'm barely into it. I feel like Pops does a much better job of badging their cards and cueing us as collectors that this is a rookie. Do you think that part of the problem is that Upper Deck really, aside from the Young Guns, and sometimes in OBG Platinum, could do a better job of that?
Yeah, I do. But even my understanding, and I don't have I don't know all the ins and outs in baseball, but I've seen commentary where, Topps has put RC on a card that is not a rookie, so okay. I think part of that it can be difficult. And is the card company the arbiter of what is a rookie card? Should they be that? And I don't know that that's the case either. I think it's going to come down to the hobby at one end. But I just want to say one thing about Clear Cut. Clear Cut's one of these interesting brands. It doesn't come out. I don't think it comes out every year. It's to me, it's not a product where I know people that are, I'm collecting the Clear Cut set. I think it's a product that you kind of just pick and choose. You dabble in it. You say, what, I like that card this year. I'm going to grab one of those and put it in it's like for player collectors more than for set collectors, I would say. Just a random comment there.
Well, the one Clear Cut card I've always really liked are the canvas red ink and blue ink autos that are consistently used, year after year. But I agree with you on every point you made there.
Okay, before we talk about these three, just a couple comments here. Larry says my Makar PSA rookie set registry does not have the rainbows or parallels. Right, because they're not considered true rookies. They are rookie year cards, even though every seller will say rookie card in the description. Hobby Champ says, I'm cool with people calling rookie related cards rookie cards, but the only true rookie cards are base cards. No one will ever change my mind. I think he's right. My argument is not against what is a true rookie card. My whole position is that the rookie card doesn't matter anymore as much. It doesn't matter as much as it used to because the base card is junk now. People mostly consider base cards to be junk. Now, I'm not saying I feel that way. I don't have any interest in them myself, but that's why. I just think that the rookie card itself has lost importance. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Because there's so many other options for collectors that are nicer and more scarce and limited. Simple as that. Brett says, in relation to Clear Cut, the thing that annoys me are the sellers that put a premium on Clear Cut high gloss cards as if they are a Young Gun high gloss. Yeah, Brett, that confuses me too. I don't even know. I'm not really familiar with the format of these cards. And because in a way, by Upper Deck using the high gloss name on a card that is not like really rare and out of 10 relative to the rest of it, unless they are out of 10, which I think they are, but there's no, I'm a little confused by it, as you can tell, but in a way, by taking the word high gloss away from flagship, it kind of cheapens the whole high gloss idea for me anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's more of an Upper Deck issue that they shouldn't confuse the terminology in that case.
Yeah. Professor says, is the Clear Cut card similar to a die cut? No, Professor, not at all. Completely different concepts. A die cut is, when they don't cut the card into a perfect rectangle. Clear Cut is really just a brand. It's really because they are acetate, hence clear, and maybe cut because they have autographs on them. So not related whatsoever. Okay, 2019 buyback of a 2016 Canvas Gretzky, autoed out of 10, PSA 10, autograph. Let's see, actually, what is this telling you? The Gem Mint. Okay, so the card is a 10. The autograph is not graded. It is authentic. I like this card though, Josh. I love this old school picture of Gretzky. The gold autograph looks great on the UD canvas. So what they did is they bought back a canvas card from flagship, repackaged it out into the buyback product, which is different. It's not a Clear Cut product, it's a buyback product, and just seeded it in there. I really like this card. I think I even like the colors down here, Josh, the card design itself. I don't mind the font or anything. Just a nice card. The gold auto looks great on there. I'm a fan of that card. Then we got Alexis Lafreniere, exquisite material Team Canada card. I've seen lots of these lately coming out on various platforms, and I don't mind this card. Lafreniere seems to have had a coming out year. And then we've got the Jamie Drysdale exquisite 1/1 RPA. Now, this is not a true rookie card, but to me, it's a great rookie year card that's better than almost all of his other rookie cards. And look at that patch. I mean, you just cannot beat it. On card auto, 1/1, beautiful design, nice gold hollow foil, and an amazing, you got the whole logo there. So a really cool, exquisite card right there. Josh, your thoughts on this row?
Yeah, I agree with you. I really like the Gretzky card. I think the canvas stock does work so well with autos. They just sit on it. Really, really nice. And the gold ink auto is kind of a nice touch on there as well. Look at the upper right corner though.
What, the numbering?
No, the actually the corner and the condition of the card. I'm just curious because it looked from afar like there may be.
No, I think what you're seeing, I think it's good. I think
Okay.
that's some sort of optical illusion or something to do with the PSA slab. I don't think that's anything really.
And I love hand number cards. I know you don't care, but that's a big W in my opinion. And so I like this card and would not mind owning it. The Laffy is, we're seeing so many of these '03 retros. A lot of them I think are coming from Ice, which these are one of the Upper Deck puts exquisite into multiple sets. Black Diamond, the Cup, Ice, maybe one more that's slipping me. My fear is always that it's gonna be run into the ground, and in a couple
Legit
years
fear.
that these are
Legit
gonna
fear.
lose their luster. But a very nice card. And then the Drysdale, the patch is so nice that at first I thought it was like a manufactured patch.
Yeah. It's very nice. That's a great card, a great Drysdale card. Unfortunately, he's not with this team anymore, but that's okay.
No,
Professor says, does Upper Deck also use the word canvas in a confusing way? I don't think so. Canvas just refers to the texture of the card, the stock, if you will. It feels like paint on canvas, it feels like a canvas, like a
very
cloth
matte
canvas.
finish to it.
Yeah. Currency Project says, personally, I wish Upper Deck would retire their colored logo on card fronts. The foil logo is so much more aesthetically pleasing and feels higher value. Yeah, I hear that. He's talking about this logo right down here. I don't know that it works on every card, that they could actually retire it, and it's more expensive to do it in foil, which is why they don't do it on, which is maybe one of the reasons why they don't do it everywhere. So I don't know that I care if they retire it. But maybe I will just take Currency Project's comment and just twist it a little bit and say, I'd like to see them use a foil version on all of the higher end products. But I think they can leave the lower ends alone. I don't think they could. I don't think it's in the budget to use that extra foil on some of their lower end products. Okay, Josh, these two cards, I listened to you guys talk about them on the Gong Show, had a couple of laughs about the design and they look like the player sort of thing. It's tough for me. I'm not a huge fan of these, but I actually, what I like about them is that they're not autographed. I have to tell you, I like that they're not autographed. It makes it more accessible to a lot of people and myself. And I actually, even just sitting here looking at them, they're growing on me as I sit here, Josh. They're literally growing on me. I collect the 2014 Upper Deck Masterpieces set, which is a set of painting cards, not original art. I'm talking about, just the copies of them. And I really like them. And this is growing on me right now to the point where I might collect these. I don't know. I gotta see this. Yeah, I was coming into the show thinking I was going to make fun of these cards a little bit, Josh, but now I kind of like them. Reiterate a bit about what you guys said. What are you and Troy? What were you guys saying about these? Where do you fall on these cards? And I want to see the checklist. Does anyone have the checklist? I'd like to see it because I don't need them graded. I would crack them out of these holders immediately. Are they numbered? 1 of 5. Numbered out of 5. Is that right?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of parallels. So they'll have like a jersey swatch and maybe to 99 or 49 or something like that. But I think this is the first out of 5 to sell. I don't know, these art cards, or I don't know what we call them, the artistic drawings or paintings. They're just so subjective. Like, I'll give you a great example, right? I actually really like the 2013 retro PMGs that were based on Marvel that were in the last Metal Universe release, and so many people can't stand them that they just, where these ones, this reminds me, and I'm sorry, Leaf, but a little bit of like Art of Hockey. And those Leaf Art of Hockey, like if you've never looked up the Minoom Riom, from Art of Hockey. I mean, it's like literally you can't stare at it for more than 5 seconds. Otherwise, I think you go to bad places. Like it's so scary and horrifying. And so this one's a little like Kale's like kind of looks like the Kale McCarr from a horror movie, you
Yeah.
know, here. But I get it too, though. They are kind of cool. It is different. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. And the patches are the other thing too. What's kind of funny about the McKinnon, this is where Troy and I have like my skin is crawling right now on the big string. Troy loves that. I can't stand it. Like
This here?
oh, I can't handle it.
Yeah, and this is where this is the one place where I might come under criticism. If I were to buy this card, I would probably just snip that thing off there because I wouldn't want it there either.
Or like with an X-Acto knife or something like that. Yeah, I think I might.
I'd probably I either pull on or I just take a pair of scissors and cut it off because I don't want it there either. I don't know if that's now have I altered the card? Am I is it one of those? I don't know. Maybe I guess I have because it's not the way it was out of the pack, but I would probably trim that off there because it just ruins it for me. As the owner of the card, I wouldn't want it. And then I say to myself, well, then I got to disclose it when I go to sell the card eventually. And would I do that? I'd probably forget that I ever did it. So I probably wouldn't. So maybe I shouldn't trim off that one little. Maybe I'd see if I could just pull it off. Maybe it's just jammed in there or something. I don't know. But I don't like it either.
Note on this card. Can I get you to open the back of it? Because
sure.
I think there's a huge missed opportunity with this set. And that I kind of bums me out a little bit. So one interesting thing about this card is that it's actually an artistic representation of, I believe, their Lake Tahoe game that it talks about on the back here, right? So if it's from, and this is cool in my opinion, it's from February 20th, 2021. They beat the Golden Knights, score 3-2. Then you go down into the authentication of the memorabilia. Had they tied this, like this patch is from that game that the whole card is about, I would think wholly different about this whole thing. It would be amazing, right? Because here you have an artistic representation of a significant game in Avs history. You've got a little write-up about kind of what happened in the game, how McKinnon had 3 points, and then you've got a patch, and then you're just saying it's from some random game, maybe.
Well, that's what it is. Right? That is unfortunately just what it is. The image is one thing, the description's another thing, and then the patch is what they have available to put in. So yeah, not ideal, but still, I think these have grown on me. I want to see what Currency says because these guys do beautiful card art. I wish Upper Deck would oh, sorry, that's not the right one. Oh, I guess I thought I saw another comment coming in. I didn't. The professor, though, says art cards are taking hold throughout the hobby, not just hockey, and cannot be ignored, both licensed and unlicensed. These remind me of Marvel artist sketch cards. Yeah, art cards they're having a moment. They've been having a moment actually, really since the beginning of the pandemic, as I recall. But yeah, we're spending a lot of time on these cards. I like these cards. I'm not gonna lie. I like these cards. I like them. And I didn't like him going into the show, Josh. So that's pretty interesting. Just as I think about my own way of doing things. Okay, Connor Bedard Upper Deck SP1. This was the first Bedard card that came out. It was selling for crazy money. Josh, you can probably fill us in on what we saw as far as maybe some high sales. Do you recall any high sale prices on this card raw? And if so, we're sitting at $290 now. Don't know how much higher we're going to get, but is this a buy at $290 plus buyer's premium, or is this still up there relative to recent sales? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't recall any raw, but I know PSA 10 that the highest sales 12,000, and there was I think 2 to 3 more 10,000 and above, and it really peaked in December, January, and February was kind of the height of this card, and a lot of so it has a lot going for it, and I think some things going against it. What it's got going for it, of course, it was a surprise. We weren't expecting an NHL jersey card, and it is, to your point, the first card. A lot of people really like it. It's got the badging of the draft in it as well. I think what makes this card hard to figure out, Jeremy, from a value perspective, is when it came out, and it was an Easter egg, right? An Easter egg, the truest definition of an Easter egg is that it did not appear on the checklist at release. What most people assume with Easter egg is like super short print. And the population of the print run is, I don't know exactly how many people I figured out, but it's way more common than a very super short print Easter egg. And so I think that's what the misperception that it was much more rare than it is drove up values. And it'll just, I think, I don't know, in the long run, I think this will be kind of an iconic card just because it represented a moment in the hobby. But, and I don't, the left corner looks a little on the bottom, looks
Yeah.
like there's some
Noticed
issues
that.
there. So I don't have a good read on. I don't know if there's. Can you think of a comparison to this whole scenario, or is this kind of a snowflake?
Yeah, no, I don't really have any good comparisons for it besides the McDavid version of it when that came out. But it was a different time, and I think this one was likely printed well in excess of back then the McDavid. So it's an interesting card. It's one that when it first came out, I knew that it wasn't a card that I would find to be, compelling for Bedard's rookie year, but it will go down as the first Bedard card to come out of a pack, Blackhawks card to come out of a pack. And I think that itself is cool, but is that cool enough for me to want to own it? It just isn't. So, All right, I'll do a couple comments. We have a bunch of Bedard Young Guns have now been sold that we were going to just watch out of curiosity. 3 PSA 10s right here going for $990, $990, and $960. A PSA 9 does $348, an 8.5 $252, and a PSA 8 does $228. So lots of variety in terms of grades of Bedards. And again, I like to see these just to have an idea of where they're at. And now we have a good cross section all the way from PSA 8, 8, 5, 9, and 10, $228 on the 8 up to about right around $1,000 on the 10s. Here's 3 more, all 9s, 336, 360, 348, 348 on this 9 here. So 4 9s have sold. And then we got some outbursts. The regular outburst, all PSA 9, they're all PSA 9s, and they all do within $30 of each other, 1,020, 990, and 990. So kind of fun just to watch the Bedards. There's plenty of them being pushed out into the marketplace right now. The value seems to be steady right now, though, Josh, on the PSA 10s at right around that $1,000 mark. I haven't noticed that they've come down since we did the show 2 weeks ago. They were right around that same level. So maybe they've I'm not going to call it a floor, but maybe they've found a temporary resting place at around this, high 900s. Any thoughts on that?
I think it's just where you think the population ends up on this card, because at some point it's already the second most graded PSA hockey card of all time. Only the 1990 Yager OBG Premier is graded more. Now there's more Jack Hughes and Kaprizov PSA 10s, but they have much higher gem rates.
Right.
So I think around 8,500 copies of this card have already been graded, and that's after 109 days we're talking about. So it likely will be the most graded card ever in the hobby. One other quick note too about the NHL Draft SP1. When that card, because I looked it up while you were talking, when that card hit $10,000-$12,000 earlier this year, it was, I think, around like the PSA 10 pop count was something like 17, 18. And a point that we made at the time and why we were bearish against the long-term value of this card is I looked it up and I could not find an example, because I predicted at the time that the PSA 10 pop would eventually get above 50. And I couldn't find a hockey card that had a PSA 10 pop 50 that was worth $10,000. There's just no card that exists. Well, I just looked it up because I haven't in a long time. The pop on the PSA 10 pop of this card right now is 71.
That's it, eh? Wow. I just put in a bid on the McKinnon, on the Makar here.
Nice.
says you're the highest bidder. I didn't realize that everyone would be able to see. I was going to try and maybe come in and sneak away, but now you guys can all see that I'm the high bidder on this one. And if I win this one, I'm going to try and win this one too. So actually, I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, is anybody in the chat interested in purchasing these two cards? If you are, let me know. I will back off. I will back off if anyone. I don't want to get into a bidding war with any viewers right now. So if you are, I will back off. Just put it in the chat and let me know. Otherwise, there's no telling what I might do. All right, let's do some comments here, guys. And I'm going to actually, we'll run to the top here. We have a bunch that have sold. So we'll hit refresh. We'll push all the sold cards down. We'll go through what they've sold for in a moment. We have 4 minutes left in this level. So let's do some comments for now. I want to go back to Larry here. He wanted to know, are Canvas Young Guns real rookie cards? Yes, they are. In my opinion, Larry, they are true rookie cards. That's my opinion. I think that's the standard answer to that. I don't think that they're considered parallels. I think they are true rookie cards. I might be wrong on that, though. I might be wrong because I think the numbering is usually like C something versus an actual number. So don't take my word for it, Larry. I'd like to hear someone else, jump in on that one. Maybe Hobby Champs has a thought on that, or anybody else. Brett says, as an Avs fan, love any cards with a hybrid Nordiques Avalanche jersey. I think those are really cool too, Brett. Brett goes on to say that McKinnon patches from their flag shoulder, not the Lake Tahoe game. So that's interesting. Thank you for that, Brett. Professor says, I would like Upper Deck to share the names of the artists on the actual hockey card as they do for Marvel. Yeah, same here. Same here, Professor. Currency says the image is a solid rendition of the athlete. Again, he's talking about the Makar and the McKinnon, but I don't see any reference to who the artist is. Technical skill is impressive, but not as interesting or creative as I would like to see. Yeah, it's interesting. I like the looks of them. It's the background I'm not crazy about, but I like the texture and all the folds and shadows of the jersey here. I like the way the jersey looks. I don't mind the way the face looks. The background is kind of whatever to me, but I hear what you're saying there. He goes to say, I don't know the set personally, but I would hope that there would be a 1-of-1, which would be the original painted card plus game used patches, Josh said, from the actual game depicted. That would be pretty sweet for sure. Okay. Anything else here, guys? The Bobby Orr All-Star is one of my favorites. Okay. I don't think we were watching on that one there, Chris, but welcome back to the show. And Scott Neighbor says the Manon Rhéaume painting is awful. She looks like the girl from The Exorcist. Yeah, I saw that on when you guys showed it, Josh, and that was a pretty poor rendition. I don't know how they approved that, actually. It looked terrible. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would. If I was her, I would have sued him.
Well, that's what.
Stop it.
How did that get approved? Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right, guys. Let's now. We have what, a minute and a half. So let's see what is sold. So the Gordie Howe 58 tops above average sells for $348. I like that card. The O-Pee-Chee BGS 6.5. Gretzky does 1710. The PSA 1 does 540 O-Pee-Chee, and the Topps BGS 6 does $930. The Ovechkin second year Black Diamond Gold out of 10 does 228. The honorable numbers 1710. $3,600 on the rookie year McDavid sign of the times. That's a big number. I feel like that's a big number on that. The McDavid Team Canada does 900. The Gretzky clear cut auto 396. That seems really low to me. And 156 only on the Lafreniere Team Canada exquisite. And then we went through all of the Bedards already. So let's go back up to the top, guys. Half a minute left in this level right now. Professor says there is an Upper Deck rendition relic on eBay with an auto. Okay, thank you, Professor. I don't know if that's from the same year or not. Todd McDonald says, I believe the renditions are just heavily modified photos using many Photoshop filters. Well, there you go. Maybe it is not actual, like, true original art painting on canvas sort of thing. So thank you for that, Todd. Oh, here's our update right now. Let's see if anything else is sold. The Drysdale 1/1 Exquisite sells for $432. And the SP1 Connor Bedard does $360. Everything else is still going, including the rendition relics, both the McKinnon and the Makar. The Gretzky canvas buyback auto just got a bid. It's up to 14 and a quarter. Pretty crazy when this is 14 and a quarter. And then down here, this is only $396. You know, like they're both Oiler uniforms, both on card autos. This one sells for $396. And this one up here is bid up to $14.25. I think it just people like the looks of a card. Aesthetics are very important. And of course, is the grade. This is graded a 10. We need bids on these three here. I'm going to hit refresh, push the sold cards down to the bottom again here, just to clean up our view. And we've got 6 cards left. The 2 rendition relics, the Gretzky auto, this Gretzky buyback auto. It's at 12 and a quarter now. So it's kind of in a battle with this one here. This is 14 and a quarter. The buyback is 12 and a quarter. The trilogy buyback. The McDavid true rookie out of 97s at $18.75. And the Guy Lafleur, Josh, it could be the survivor here, is at $80.
There you go.
Any thoughts on all this stuff going on here?
Yeah, I was just looking up some prices while you were talking, and one thing I found is on the Gretzky buyback auto, there was an SGC 1010 that sold for $1,740 this past December 3rd in the PWCC weekly. So looks pretty much in line with that. Right, it was like $14.25 right now. So the buyer's premium actually probably a little bit ahead of that.
Yeah. The professor has picked up a card tonight, the 2021 Upper Deck Speckled Rainbow Foil, Nathan McKinnon PSA 10. Saw that card when I was going through the auction. Professor, those are pretty cards. Let's see if we can find that one. I'm going to just do let me see if I can I copy the text? I cannot copy the text from the comment. So let's do this. How are we going to do it? We're going to go weekly. We're going to open it up in a new tab. And we are going to search for the McDavid Speckled so we can see what the professor has purchased. McKinnon. And let's see here we go. Professor picked up this card today. Yeah, that's a nice looking card. I'd like to see it in person. I bet it's a lot nicer when you're moving it around. It looks, with all these dots, it looks like the Matrix a little bit here. Mm-hmm. But when you hold that in hand, it's going to be really pretty for sure. Schwab says, nice pickup. I'm stockpiling McDavid Speckled and gold rainbow foils myself. There you go. Schwab, were you in on this? Oh, McDavid, you said. I'm always McDavid, McKinnon, the mix. That's a nice focus for you, Schwab, to stockpile. Very nice. $86, pretty good deal there, Professor, I would say, for a PSA 10 of this card. I don't know any comp information on that at all, but nice looking card for sure.
Are you an EPAC guy?
I mean, I am not. I haven't probably logged into EPAC since it first was launched.
Okay.
Why? Yeah, because it's an EPAC card?
Yeah, you get those by combining base because I don't remember exactly how base are different from Young Guns, but so many of the digitals combine into a silver foil, and then X amount of silver foils combine into the speckled rainbow.
Yeah, I'm sort of aware of all of those formulas. And hey, at least you can do something with your base. But then I got to wonder, once you combine those cards, what happens to the cards that were combined? What happens to them? Are they lost forever? Which is maybe save the paper. Maybe they don't have to print them in that case.
Well, I think that so here's what I understand, and I may not be like 100% accurate, but we have talked to Upper Deck a little bit about this. So every EPAC card is when an EPAC set's released, the card is already at ComC. So Upper Deck, ComC is the fulfillment provider for EPAC. And so like when you transfer your EPAC card to ComC, it's kind of already there, but you're just transferring it from the EPAC system into the ComC system. And so I believe that they produce these cards not on demand. They produce them up front. and any extras are just archived or burned, I believe.
Okay. Well, okay. 2 more cards have now sold. The Trilogy Buyback, Wayne Gretzky, numbered 4 of 4, sells for $1,470. And the McDavid SP Game Used rookie card out of 97 sells for $2,250. That seems a little bit light to me. I haven't been following the card lately very closely, and I wonder if that's, maybe that's the BGS discount right there. Could be. I surprised to see this card sell for, because you look at the young gun, right? I mean, this is there's only 97 of these, and there's like what, 500,000 young guns or whatever the number is. I'm sure that's maybe a little bit high, but this to me is a bargain at $2,250 compared to buying a PSA 10 young gun for $3,000. This is a way better. To me, it's just a smarter buy, but that's just me. I often do not see eye to eye with a greater hobby on things like that.
Well, on March 7th, a BGS 9 sold for $4,575 US. So double. Especially if he wins a cup tomorrow night, that probably was a steal.
Did you say on March 7th a BGS 9 sold for that?
Same grade, yeah.
Same grade and you said 4,500. That's double the price. Wow.
Yeah.
That's strange. Someone might have got a huge steal on this card right here tonight. So,
but now it just set the comp though. So it's a huge steal. You're probably going to sit on it for a few years.
Yeah, because the comp has been set. That's true. Well, we'll see. Someone might say, no, that was a steal, and I'm going to pay more for it next time. Maybe I'll pay $3,000 for it. Maybe they crack it out of here and send it to PSA, and it does grade out a PSA 9, and it's worth more because of the plastic and paper surrounding it versus the card itself. All right. Well, we're down to now 3 cards. 4 cards. 4? Yeah, 4 that we're watching: the Guy Lafleur, the Gretzky auto, and the 2 rendition relics, which for whatever reason, I'm kind of backing off on my bidding on them. I think I'm going to let them go. No one told me in here that they were bidding on them, but I think I'm still going to just not bid anymore. I think I'm okay not purchasing those cards. I'm not the high bidder, so I'm not committed to purchasing them. I might change my mind here in the next 2 minutes and 10 seconds, though. We will see. Schwab says, Josh, you're correct. I believe there are certain older silver foils on ePack where you can't combine base because they're out of the stock on the silver foils. So that's a bit of I don't know if that's an issue or not, or I'm sure they have that in their terms and conditions that they can run out. So first come, first serve. Professor says in ePack, you can get a free Upper Deck Series 2-pack each day with Bedard on the pack. But it's really about the cards, right? I don't think you're collecting the pack itself, but you can log in and open up a free pack. I used to do that. When the first year ePack came out, I would log in every day and open up a pack just to see what it was all about. All right, we'll hit refresh again here. We have about a minute and a half now left in the second last 5-minute extended bidding window, and we are down to just the 4 cards. $1,475 now on the Gretzky Canvas buyback auto, numbered out of 10. So this is numbered out of 10, and it's at $1,475, while the one we just saw sell earlier, this one, not that one. Where did it go? Maybe it was. Yeah, maybe it is. I thought we had one out of 4. What did we have out of 4? The Trilogy. The Trilogy was out of 4, and it sold for less than the one out of 10. Or Trilogy. Here it is. $1,470. $1,470 on the Trilogy out of 4. And meanwhile, this one out of 10 is going to sell for about $1,700 because of the buyer's premium. So it's not all about numbering and scarcity. Sometimes it's just about aesthetic and what people like. And I much prefer this card to the Trilogy below myself, personally. All right, Josh, we can let's see what happens here, guys. We got 10 seconds left. These 2 cards might be selling right now. Oh, nope. We just got a bid on the canvas. So that one is going to go for another 5 minutes. Looks like the Lafleur is going to be sold for about $100 here. $100.80. It is sold. We are left with the Gretzky buyback and the 2 rendition relics, which seem to be lasting out here. We're in the last 5-minute window of extended bidding here, guys. We got about 100 people with us right now between Facebook, X, YouTube, of course, and Instagram. So thanks everybody for hanging in there with us throughout the show. I'm just looking at Instagram now. We have a comment from Psycho Bob. He says, when are cards going to be AI generated photos? Soon enough, if not done already. What I see happening, and I can't share that question on the screen because it's coming in from Instagram, but what I see happening is, how far away are we really from seeing the first AI insert set, AI generated insert set? I think that's going to come sooner than we see AI generated photos across, the whole hobby. I don't see that. I think as soon as the card companies do that, unless we just can't tell the difference when it gets that good, I think you're going to lose a lot of collectors if they go away from. You
want to hear a crazy story along these lines?
I do, but let me just finish that thought. I think we have a long ways to go before that happens, and if we do, I think that's when we're going to see people get fed up and say, you know what, I don't like that being the new standard. I think that's where I was going with that. But Go ahead with your thought.
Sorry to interrupt. Didn't mean to do that. But I don't know if you saw this, but on the Hollywood side, Tyler Perry, after spending $300 million on a $900 million new studio, stopped construction because he knows that there likely won't be movie studios going forward. That movies will be just generated through AI. So he literally abandoned the project midway through it. Like, if that gives you any indication whether or not this is actually coming, it is.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's I don't know what to say, man. I mean, listen, I think we will first see an AI set. It'll be called AI, like we had with the what are they called, the 16-bit cards. We'll see the AI. We'll see an AI insert set. Upper Deck's probably got it in the hopper already. Billy's probably working on it for a set, or Tony. One of these guys are probably working on it already, and I think that's okay. It's the way the world's going. Go for it. But if it becomes the standard across which cards are produced, and we're not using images from games, I'm going to stop collecting modern cards if that happens. I pretty much promise you that. MSG, welcome to the show, says, what's up, guys? Happy Sunday. Literally not a fan of AI. And Jonathan Clark says AI grading now. I don't know what you mean by AI grade. We already have, we have sort of hybrid AI grading with tag grading, but I think AI grading something that's been on people's radar for a long time already, Jonathan Clark. But welcome to the show. Good to have you. And I saw someone, Daniel P. Welcome, Daniel. Says, can you explain how the bidding times work? You just made your account with PWCC. Glad to hear it, Daniel. Basically it's a concept called extended bidding. And extended bidding begins at 7 p.m. Pacific. 7 p.m. Pacific on Sunday nights. And basically what happens there's different windows. The first window is 30 minutes. So from 7 until 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, if any item in the auction does not receive a bid, it will be over by 7:30 Pacific. Any item that gets a bid will live on to the next extended bidding window. From 7:30 until 8 o'clock, the bidding windows are not 30 minutes anymore. They're 5 minutes, and you get 6 of them for a total of 30 minutes. So for every 5-minute period, if a bid does not come in, the auction will end for that item. But any item that gets a bid, the item will be extended to the next window. And after 8 o'clock Pacific, they go down to 1-minute windows. 1 minute. If you don't place a bid within a minute on the item, it will go to the highest bidder. And if a bid is not placed, it will go to the highest bidder. So you have to be careful, especially if you're bidding on multiple items. You can only get in so many bids within a minute. You might intend to get a card or bid on a card, but you might not have time. That's happened to me before. As you can see right here, we've got these 2 items left, all 3 of them. They are all going to extend to the next bidding window because there has been a bid that has come in during the 5-minute window. This 5-minute window is now over. The 5-minute windows are over. And now we're into the 1-minute windows. Daniel, everybody else, as you can see, 52 seconds left. Bid needed to extend the item. So if we don't see a bid on these items in the next 45 seconds, they will sell for the current price. And there we go. We now have a bid in on the Gretzky Canvas Buyback Auto, and we will get at least another minute on this card. Whereas this McKinnon over here, right now it's going to stop while the Makar has had a bid. I hope that explains it. And just a refresher for everybody else. Schwab says, I hope the first AI set is like the Gong Show's AI images, wrong numbers on players with just bizarre results. Yeah, AI has a ways to go, I would think. And you are welcome, Daniel. I hope that was helpful. All right, guys. 7 seconds left. We're about to lose. Nope, we are not losing it. McKinnon gets a bid. Let's hit refresh and pull the 3 remaining cards up to the top because we did lose the Lafleur. And now the only 3 cards left in the auction that we are watching tonight are these 3 in front of you. There's 50 seconds left. And if they don't get a bid, well, and there we go. We are into some sort of bidding wars here, it looks like, on these renditions and probably the Gretzky too. Let's see in the next 40 seconds if either of these bookend cards get a bid. The McKinnon did. It will go into the next minute, but these 2 on the ends need bids to go. We'll go for another minute or 2, Josh. We'll wrap up. We don't need to watch these end completely, but unless we get comments from you guys in the chat, still 98 of you with us. So feel free to shoot us any comments you want, questions. We're happy to talk about really any topic right now. We'll go for about 10 more minutes. If we get any more action in the chat. There we go. The Gretzky gets a bid. It's not going to end yet. Will the McKinnon get another bid, or is it going to end? It looks like it might be over. And it does. The McKinnon has sold for $138. Makar is still alive, as is the Gretzky. Let's go, Jordan says, nice weekly auction. And Daniel Brown, Jeremy, what type of cards do you have in the saved searches? That's a great question, Daniel. That's a great question. If you're talking about like eBay saved searches, I've got several of them. And I will maybe one day do a piece of content and share what those are, Daniel. There's too many to name. They go from players to sets to really just players and sets is all I can think of. For example, I like to keep I like to stay on top of the cup card. So my search is simply cup. Anything cup will come across I'll set eyes on pretty much every cup card that gets listed there. All right. I think so now the McKinnon has sold for $156. Makar did $138. And the last card to go tonight here of those we are watching is the Gretzky buyback auto. It's at $1,750, which is more like $2,100 out the door. Oh, Professor. I think what the Professor did here, guys, I think he picked up a card for trade bait with me, and that maybe in the future, probably. Professor, you're thinking it might be trade bait. I love it, man. Congrats. Beautiful card. Beautiful card. I like it. It grew on me. Congratulations.
Well, and I was just doing some quick research on Gretzky buybacks, and I used card ladder sales history, cross-referenced it with Terapeak. Other than a buyback 101 auto of his from 2015-16, this will be the highest, second highest valued Gretzky buyback card of any type.
I think deservedly so. It's a very nice card. Like, I just really like, and the Professor picked up the McKinnon as well. He picked them both, Professor. That's hilarious. I did say, if anyone's going to bid on them, let me know. I'll back off, but I backed off on my own. So I'm glad I did not bid you up on that, Professor. And I think they're beautiful cards. Maybe one day we will make a trade for them. I do like the cards. He says I'm a mind reader. Robert Scott says, friendly reminder to hit that like button, everybody. Thanks for the show. Thank you, Robert Scott, for shouting out the like button. I almost never do that myself, so I'm grateful for your attention to that. Currency says, have you been hearing more non-hockey fans jumping into watching the NHL Cup finals? Let's just watch the final 5 seconds here, guys. Final 5 seconds on the Gretzky here. 2 seconds. Is it over? It looks like that bidding war has finally come to an end, and it sells for $2,130, the most ever, as Josh told us, for a Gretzky buyback auto. Now, to your question, to Currency Project's question, I believe that this Game 7, I don't know the whole playoffs Currency, but on this Game 7, I think we're going to see a lot of people watching it that don't usually watch hockey. That's my thoughts on that. I haven't been here. I'm seeing stuff I'm seeing people talking about it, and I think probably Game 6 as well, we would have seen a big uptick in viewership for non-traditional hockey viewers. Brett says, just bought some Makar speckled foils from ComC. Thanks to the stream in the chat. Good for you. Nice to see. Jonathan Herman, aside from eBay completed sales, what tips do you have for finding completed sales data? Card Ladder, Market Movers, 130 point. That's about all I got for you. Terapeak, I know Josh references.
Yeah, can I make there's actually, and it's not your fault, Jonathan, but there's a little misnomer in your statement. eBay sales history does actually not show completed sales. It shows completed listings. Now, if you're like me and you consider a sale when money exchanges hands, that's why you have to use Terapeak. There are so many completed listings that are used as comps in eBay, thousands, many of thousands. And we could go for hours, but we won't. That are never paid for. And they're reported through eBay sales history, which does feed Card Ladder and Market Movers and 130 point. That's why any eBay sale that you want to use as a comp, that you have to verify in Terapeak. The only bummer is it has to be within the last 3 years.
There you go. There you go. Professor says, great discussion on the Relics cards, Josh, on the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. Dave Snyder, what's up, Dave? Greetings to Buffalo. Greetings to Buffalo. I like the Sabres, actually. I think they got a good potential. Might be a bit of a development time still, but I like the Buffalo Sabres. Good to see you, Dave. Decoy says, when trying to put together a set after exhausting online options, any advice if I'm not in a show-heavy area? I mean, no. Keep on top of online options. Just keep on top of them. I mean, cards are always being listed. That's all I can think of there. Decoy.
Like Facebook groups, you can go and join them and ask people, let people know what you're collecting, and try to ask people if they have any cards that would help you out. Yeah,
and I mean, I was thinking that as an online option, but Decoy, if you weren't, consider. Josh makes a great suggestion there. Professor's brother-in-law in Houston is paying attention to hockey for the first time.
Nice.
Yep. Good. Good to see that. Dave Snyder says, not that I believe in grading, but given the stuff going on in the U.S. with grading companies, tag might be the best option for those needing less market drama. I'm not exactly sure what you're getting at there, Dave, but tag's definitely an option for modern cards. No doubt about it. Professor says, on your show, Josh, you mentioned that you have to be an actual seller on eBay in order to access Terapeak. Is that true?
I don't know, because I am a seller, but it is in the, Terapeak is a little bit of a misnomer because it's no longer has a name. That was a system that eBay purchased. You just go into the sell function, and then there's a research tab, and it allows you to look up sales there. That's the way to do it. Now, the one little kind of trick is that there's a drop down for eBay has different sites for different countries. You have to, for hockey, especially, you have to pick all sites because a lot of sales are in Canada, a lot of sales are in the US. So if you want a complete picture, you need to have that selected.
There you go. Decoy, I appreciate the blunt no, he says. Yeah, well, you're not on Facebook. That's I do not transact on Facebook almost at all. Maybe I've picked up 3 cards off of Facebook in the last few years. I do more on Instagram, just, private purchasing. But there are thousands, if not millions, of cards on Facebook that I'm still members of groups, and I see them. I just tend not to buy it that way, but there's lots there. Decoy, you might be able to do some damage, and you can also just put out feelers. Just go like Josh says, go into some of these hockey groups or whatever sport it is, and just say looking for. And you never know what might pop up. Some people are really helpful. They'll say, you know what, I actually know a guy, and they'll put you in touch. So you want that. Josh gave you the best advice, Facebook groups, if you've exhausted all other online options. Schwab says, can't believe we're in 2024 and finding comps that are paid for. Is this can't believe we were in 2024 and finding comps that are paid for. Is this convoluted? Yeah, that's why Card Ladder is a good option, because Card Ladder, they try, I believe, and I don't know exactly, but I think that they do their best to filter out unpaid items. So,
well, they do their cards that are verified that have a little check mark. They verify that each sale is paid, but they're beholden. And this is not a big fan of Card Ladder. I love Card Ladder. It's the number one tool I use. And it's the same for 130 point. It's the same for Market Movers or Card Ladder. They only get access to data from eBay through the eBay Sales History API. And once again, the problem with that is eBay Sales History shows only completed listings, not paid listings. So if a listing is completed, meaning I say I hit the buy button and I never pay for the card, then that shows up as a quote unquote sale. So if you go and look at like the top 10, like Leon Draisaitl sales of all time, something like 6 or 7 were never paid for.
there you go. Okay, sorry, I was a little distracted there. I've actually gone now and taking a look at next week's PWCC Weekly, and there could be some items flashed in, and I'm just gonna run through it, just show you guys what we have on tap for next week. Some 64 tall boys, some 66, a nice little collection of 66, a Dryden rookie, some Gretzky rookies. You know, we're going to look at those, some Gretzky kind of base cards and insert or subset cards here. Tops right there with the black, the first Gretzky LA Kings card, some early Eric Lindros score cards. And I'll just try to scroll through early 90s stuff here. Ultra Gold Medallion, Patrick Waugh. And then let's see, nothing. Okay, 3 more pages to go through here. So I'll just do one more, and then we can wrap up the episode. There's a Ovechkin Young Gun BGS 9.5. Colton Gillies, he's a inconsequential player, I would say, unless you're, well, he played for your team there, Josh. How was Colton Gillies? Any hobby love for Colton Gillies?
No.
There's an Ovechkin limited logos, a nice Gretzky scripted swatches, a dual scripted of Waugh and Sakic, a McKinnon Young Gun. Ekblad might win a Stanley Cup tomorrow. We'll see. I love these McDavid exquisite rookie patches. There's the pure black. I don't know what to make of these. I'm not a fan on those. And some Matthews Young Guns, Patrick Kane PMG, and Adam Fox Overshadow. So there you go, guys. A bit of a preview for what's on tap in next week's auction. Professor says, does Card Ladder designate whether a comp comes from a private sale that's reported by IDK seller or buyer? Their sales history will very clearly tell you if it's a private sale that was reported to them. Decoy says I should do a dual country road trip just to, there you go. Another way to find more cards. Professor's already bidding on an outburst card in next week's auction. And Schwab says, nice purple out of 25 platinum coming up next week. Guys, we're going to wrap this up. Josh, thanks as always. Guys in the chat, thank you for chatting with us. If you bid, awesome. Appreciate it if you use the SEL affiliate codes. Congrats on the cards that you won tonight. I did not win any. Josh, did you?
No, I didn't bid.
Not tonight. We'll see about next week, guys. But Josh, anything you'd like to mention to everyone listening and watching ahead of us ending the episode?
Have fun watching Game 7. Cannot wait. And thank you all for participating. And then finally, Gong Show 3 a.m.
There you have it, everybody. I will be back live tomorrow night with another live stream during the hockey game. So I'm going to be watching the game and doing a live stream. We'll see how that goes. Go Oilers. That's who I'm hoping for tomorrow night. Thank you, Professor. Appreciate it. Thank you, Currency Project. Thank you, Schwab. Good to have you all here. Guys, with that, this episode of the PWCC Hockey Weekly Auction Ending Watch Party, but I first have to say goodnight to Jeff McMahon as well. Good night, Jeff, is now over.